and I've been a graphic artist, well known for many, many years now. Earned a very good living from it, and I always kept my music creation process going throughout all the artwork and the recorded albums and things like that. And what I've done that not a lot of people do, I don't see it that much, is I have taken the artistic techniques and ideas that I've used in graphic art, drawing and painting and storytelling, and I directly take them over and apply them to the music that I create, songs I write, recordings that I make especially, and things like that. So anyway, I think that online there's a lot of guitar instruction, for example, that is somewhat mechanical, scales, you know, and while there's certainly a place for that, I think too much focus on that and no focus on artistry is a big mistake. And art, some people think, oh, it's artsy fartsy, this is rock and roll, we don't need any art. And it's like, no, you really do need art, because bands like Led Zeppelin, for example, were so good because Jimmy Page was an art student. He understood artistic concepts, he applied them to the music. And I think he said something like, the Stairway to Heaven, the beginning being quiet and the heavy part coming in later, was essentially light and shade. So he used a lot of contrasts and things like that, and artistic ideas in music. Visual, but heck, you don't know, right? Another good example is Moonage Daydream from the Ziggy Stardust album, David Bowie, and Mick Ronson played the astonishing solo on that of these notes, the same note a lot, kind of spiraling up. And apparently that was based on a visual idea of a spiral climbing. So would you ever know that if you hadn't been told the story? Probably not. You would just hear it as music, and that's fine too. But point being, it was the idea, the visual idea, the concept, creative concept, artistic concept, put into the music to achieve the end result. So trying to get away from music that is too mechanical and is a good thing, because the other thing that happens is, hey Kitty, is especially these days, there are certain genres where you can see it on, for example, a drum machine I have here. Oh, this is pop rock #2. This is push metal, or whatever they call it, and there's dozens of different sort of, and they can be matched, I suppose, to certain bands or certain songs. I don't always know which ones they are, but they're essentially popular styles. And the popular styles, what a lot of people do with music is they choose one and then they stay in it. So everyone in the band knows exactly what to do. It's basically formulaic is what it is. If you want to buy and listen to formulaic music, that's up to you. I'm really not interested in it. It doesn't seem to me to be honest. It's just, and it's cutting things short, but you know, hey, it's rock and roll or whatever. It's like, nothing against that, but do you want to do that? Just stick to the easy formula. The opposite to that is probably thinking more on your feet and listening to the other people in the group, or creating an artistic arrangement, recording it and doing all the parts yourself, rather just do the whole song and that somehow fits everything perfectly well. You haven't really done anything incredibly original in doing that, and what does it really mean? What does it really say about you? So anyway, it's a big topic. Hey, go on, that's enough. A lot of things that you can do with your instrument, in this case I'm using the guitar, to inject mood, artistic sorts of ideas into the music. Now, for some things, mood might be, oh, we'll tune down to C sharp or something like that. Okay, that's a deep, dark mood. It's like everybody gets that. High pitch, you know, that's happy, elated, or something positive, ordered, form. Other chords evoke other moods. Now, major chords tend to be sort of positive. Minor chords are the chords that people say are sad. And it makes you wonder if in another culture that's based on a completely different music system, would they find the minor chord sad? Maybe to them it's happy. There's another chord sequence, used a lot in metal and things. I use it too, but I use it in a quieter way a lot of times. And that was supposed to be, they thought that sequence was cursed for centuries. There's something evil about it, and they wouldn't play it in regular music, churches and things like that. So anyway, now there are a lot of other chords, jazz chords, for example, may evoke a certain mood. With jazz, things change so fast or so fluid, it may be a little hard to kind of determine what is the mood, or is it an overall mood of a stream going by or something. It's more difficult to do that, and you have a choice to whether you allow your ear to follow certain instruments or try to follow all the instruments or things like that. So it's very much engaging, jazz is, in that sense. But jazz chords, well, what is a jazz chord? It's just a chord that's used in jazz. It's also a chord that stands alone. Major seventh chords are popular, where the root note is dropped a half step as a kind of a longing, melancholy, sort of warm feeling to it. Everyone uses that these days. Drop it down one more step, you got a seventh. We may think of things like hymns or old-fashioned songs and things with the seventh chord. Or the Beatles, maybe. The Beatles used it a good bit. But then there are other chords, and some chords, open string things, they may have their own completely different mood. What does that invoke? Does that evoke? What does it suggest? A scene, a movie, a James Bond movie, science fiction, some sort of idea like that. So you can take that and wed that with your song, or build your song around the mood created by that. Now here's a chord. It's hell to play. And to me, this chord is like a brook, a babbling brook in a way. It has a warm, flowing quality to it. So I based a song around that chord. Here's another interesting thing you hear a good bit. Well, you may not. I use it a good bit. So anyway, there's a lot more to it. I will come back.